Hi Mark, I'm Alice. I'm going to read the article this week. The title is Effective Communication: Improving Communication Skills in Business and Relationship. Effective communication helps us better understand a person or a situation and enable us to resolve differences, build trust and respect, and create environments where creative ideas, problem-solving, affection, and caring can flourish. As simple as communication seems, much of what we try to communicate to others and what others try to communicate to us gets misunderstood, which can cause conflict and frustration in personal and professional relationships. By learning these effective communication skills, you can better connect with your spouse, kids, friends, and co-workers. What is effective communication? In the information age, we have to send, receive, and process huge numbers of messages every day. But effective communication is about more than just exchanging information. It's also about understanding the emotion behind the information. Effective communication can improve relationships at home, work, and in social situations by deepening your connections to others and improving teamwork, decision-making, and problem-solving. It enables us to communicate even negative or difficult messages without creating conflict or destroying trust. Effective communication combines a set of skills including nonverbal communication, attentive listening, the ability to manage stress in the moment, and the capacity to recognize and understand your own emotions and those of the person you're communicating with. While effective communication is a learned skill, it is more effective when it's spontaneous rather than formulaic. A speech that is read, for example, rarely has the same impact as a speech that's delivered or appears to the deliverer spontaneously. Of course, it takes time and efforts to develop these skills and become an effective communicator. The more efforts and practice you put in, the more instinctive and spontaneous your communication skills will become. Effective communication skills. 1. Listening. Listening is one of the most important aspects of effective communication. Successful listening means not just understanding the words and the information being communicated, but also understanding how the speaker feels about what they are communicating. Effective listening can, first, make the speaker feel heard and understood, which can help build a stronger, deeper connection between you. Second, creating an environment where everyone feels safe to express ideas, opinions, and feelings, or plan and problem solve in creative ways. Third, save time by helping clarify information, avoid conflicts and misunderstanding. 4. Relieve negative emotion. When emotions are running high, if the speaker feels that he or she has been truly heard, it can help to calm them down, relieve negative feelings, and allow for real understanding or problem solving to begin. Tips for effective listening. If your goal is to fully understand and connect with the other person, listening effectively will often come naturally. If it doesn't, you can remember the following tips. The more you practice them, the more satisfying and rewarding your interactions with others will become. First, focus fully on the speaker, his or her body language and other nonverbal cues. If you're daydreaming, checking text messages, or doodling, you're almost certain to miss nonverbal cues in the conversation. If you find it hard to concentrate on some speakers, try repeating their words over in your head. It'll reinforce their message and help you stay focused. Second, avoid interrupting or trying to redirect the conversation to your concerns. By saying something like, "If you think that's bad, let me tell you what happened to me." Listening is not the same as waiting for your turn to talk. You can concentrate on what someone's saying if you are forming what you're going to say next. Often, The speaker can read your facial expressions and know that your mind's elsewhere. Third, avoid seeming judgmental. In order to communicate effectively with someone, you don't have to like them or agree with her idea, values, or opinions. However, you do need to set aside your judgment and withhold blame and criticisms in order to fully understand the person. The most difficult communication, when successfully executed, can lead to the most unlikely and profound connection with someone. 4. Show your interest in what's being said. Not occasionally smile at the person, and make sure your posture is open and inviting. Encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes or uh-huh. Second, effective communication skill 2. Nonverbal communication. When we communicate things that we cared about, we do so mainly using nonverbal signals. Wordless communication or body language includes facial expressions, body movement and gestures, eye contact, posture, the tone of your voice, and even your muscle tensions and breathing. The way you look, listen, move, and react to another person tells them more about how you're feeling than words alone ever can. Developing the ability to understand and use nonverbal communication can help you connect with others, express what you really mean, negative challenge situations, and build better relationships at home and work. You can enhance effective communication by using open body language, arms uncrossed, standing with an open stance or sitting on the edge of your seat, and maintaining eye contact with the person you are talking to. You can also use body language to emphasize or enhance your verbal message. Patting friends on the back while complimenting him on his success, for example, or pounding your fist to underline your message. Tips for improving how you read nonverbal communication. First, practice observing people in public places, such as a shopping mall, bus, train, cafe, restaurant, or even on a television talk show with the sound mute. Observing how others use body language can teach you how to better receive and use nonverbal signal when conversing with others. Notice how people act and react to each other. Try to guess what their relationship is, what they're talking about, and how each feels about what is being said. Second, be aware of individual differences. People from different countries and cultures tend to use different nonverbal communication gestures, so it's important to take age, culture, religion, gender, and emotional state into account when reading body language signals. An American teen, a grieving widow, and an Asian businessman, for example, are likely to use nonverbal signals differently. Third, look at nonverbal communication signal as a group. Don't read too much into a single gesture or nonverbal cue. Consider all of the nonverbal signals you receive, from eye contact to tone of voice to body language. Anyone can slip up occasionally and let eye contact slip, for example, or briefly cross their arms without meaning to. Consider the signal as a whole to get a better read on the person. Tips for improving how to deliver nonverbal communication. First, use nonverbal signals that match up with your words. Nonverbal communication should reinforce what is being said, not contradict it. If you say one thing, but your body language says something else, your listener will likely feel you are being dishonest. For example, you can say yes while shaking your head no. Second, adjust your nonverbal signals according to the context. The tone of your voice, for example, should be different when you are addressing a child than when you are addressing a group of adults. Similarly, take into account the emotional state and cultural background of the person you are interacting with. Third, use body language to convey positive feelings even when you are not actually experiencing them. If you are nervous about the situation, a job interview, important presentation, or first date, for example, you can use positive body language to signal confidence, even though you are not feeling it. Instead of tentatively entering a room with your head down, eyes averted and sliding into the chair, try standing tall with your shoulders back, smiling and maintaining eye contact, and delivering a firm handshake. It'll make you feel more self-confident and feel you help to put the other person at ease. Effective communication skills. 3. Managing stress. In small doses, stress can help you perform under pressure. However, when stress becomes constant and overwhelming, it can hamper effective communication by disrupting your capacity to think clearly and creatively and act appropriately. When you're stressed, you're more likely to misread other people, send confusing or off-putting nonverbal signals, and lapse into unhealthy knee-jerk patterns of behavior. How many times have you felt stressed during a disagreement with your spouse, kids, boss, friends, or coworkers and then said or done something you later regretted? If you can quickly relieve stress and return to a calm state, you will not only avoid such regrets, but in many cases you will also help to calm the other person as well. It's only when you are in a calm, relaxed state that you will be able to know whether the situation requires a response or whether the other person's signals indicate it would be better to remain silent. Quick stress relief for effective communication. When stress strikes, you can't always temper it by taking time out of medicaid or go for a run, especially if you're in the middle of the meeting with your boss or an argument with your spouse, for example. By learning to quickly reduce stress in the moment, you can safely face and strong emotions you're experiencing. Regulate your feelings and behave appropriately. When you know how to maintain a relaxed, energized state or awareness, even when something upsetting happens, you can remain emotionally available and engaged. To deal with stress during communication. First, recognize when you are becoming stressed. Your body will let you know if you are stressed as you communicate. Are your muscle or your stomach tight or sore? Are your hands clenched? Is your breath shallow? Are you forgetting to breathe? Second, take a moment to calm down before deciding to continue a conversation or postpone it. Third, bring your sense to the rescue and quickly manage stress by taking a few deep breaths, clenching and relaxing muscles, or recalling a soothing sensory-rich image, for example. The best ways to rapidly and reliably relieve stress is through the senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Put each person responds differently to sensory inputs, so you need to find things that are soothing to you. 4. Look for humor in the situation. When used appropriately, humor is a great way to relieve stress when communicating. When you and those around you start taking things too seriously, find a way to lighten the mood by sharing a joke or amusing story. 5. Be willing to compromise. Sometimes if you can both bend a little, you will be able to find a happy middle ground that reduces the stress level for everyone concerned. If you realize that the other person cares much more about something that you do, compromise might be easier for you and a good investment in the future of the relationship. 6. Agree to disagree, if necessary, and take time away from the situation so everyone can calm down. Take a quick break and move away from the situation. Go for a stroll outside if possible, or spend a few minutes meditating. Physical movement and finding a quiet place to regain your balance can quickly reduce stress. Effective communication skills. 4. Emotional awareness. Emotions plays an important role in the way we communicate at home and work. It's the way you feel more than the way you think that motivates you to communicate or to make decisions. The way you react to emotionally driven nonverbal cues affects both how you understand other people and how they understand you. If you're out of touch with your feelings and don't understand how you feel or why you feel that way, you will have a hard time communicating your feelings and needs to others. This can result in frustration, misunderstanding, and conflict. When you don't address what's really bothering you, you often become embroiled in petty squabbles instead, arguing with your spouse about how the towels should be hung, for example, or with a coworker about whose turn it is to restock the copier. Emotional awareness provides you the tools needed for understanding both yourself and other people, and the real messages they are communicating to you. Although knowing your own feelings may seem simple, many people ignore to try to sedate strong emotions like anger, sadness, and fear. But your ability to communicate depends on being connected to these feelings. If you are afraid of strong emotions or if you insist on communicating only on the rational level, it will impair your ability to fully understand others, creatively problem solve, resolve conflict, or build an affectionate connection with someone. How emotional awareness can improve effective communications. Emotional awareness, the conscience of your moment-to-moment emotional experience, and the ability to manage all of your feelings appropriately is the basis for effective communication. Emotional awareness helps you, first, understand and empathize with what is really troubling other people. Second, understand yourself, including what's really troubling you and what you really want. Third, stay motivated to understand and empathize with the person you are interacting with, even if you don't like them or their message. 4. Communicate clearly and effectively, even when delivering negative messages. 5. Build strong, trusting, and rewarding relationships. Think creatively, solving problems, and resolve conflicts. Effective communication requires both thinking and feeling. When emotional awareness is strongly developed, you will know what you are feeling without having to think about it. You will be able to use them emotional cues to understand what someone is really communicating to you and act accordingly. The goal of effective communication is to find a healthy balance between your intellect and your emotion, between thinking and feeling. Emotional awareness is a skill you can learn. Emotional awareness is a skill that, with patience and practice, can be learned at any time of life. You can develop emotional awareness by learning how to get in touch with difficult emotions and manage uncomfortable feelings, including anger, sadness, fear, disgust, surprise, and joy. When you know how to do this, you can remain in control of your emotion and behavior, even in very challenging situations, and communicate more clearly and effectively. Next step, improve emotional awareness. Emotions are the foundation of your ability to understand yourself and communicate effectively with others. Emotional awareness allows you to understand what others are feeling and to empathize with them. Thank you, Mark. I finished my reading.